Today I want to do some color studies of landscapes, really focus on researching colors. This weekend I was watching TV, being very relaxed, and I set myself up on the couch with my cards of paint, a bunch of little papers, and I went mad. Look at this. I started to kind of paint a whole bunch of random landscape pieces and skies here with all the paints that I have. And today I thought that I would kind of put them together. I'll show you how I want to do this to try and see what I like. By the way, I'm going to put the timestamp if you want to go straight to the painting because I felt like blabbing a little bit right now. I like minimal landscapes in compositions and colors, and I also like expressive brush strokes, like big bold ones without too much details. And I've noticed that whenever I try to paint a landscape, I'm always a little bit disappointed, but not always, but often disappointed by the result. I think that part of it is the color palette, the greens and the blues, the combination, I'm not in love with. So I'm kind of like on a quest to see what would really draw me in and what could be kind of like a signature color palette when it comes to landscapes, something that I know would make me happy to paint and happy with the result as well. The other reason is that I have a whole bunch of paints right now, and I gave myself the challenge to not buy more paint colors until I've used up everything, like all my paint tubes. The only exception is black and white. So whenever I run out of that, I'll buy more. But other than that, I'm just gonna finish everything up. And I want to start fresh with a very minimal set, like the primary colors, but specific shades that will really get me inspired and not stray too much from it, because I've noticed that when I have too many options, too many paint tubes, it gets me overwhelmed. Instead of being very inspired by all the possibilities, I get a little bit stuck, paralyzed, and it doesn't inspire me much. I'd rather just have a few specific colors that I love. Today, I plan to sort these out. My plan is to cut those papers in the middle and mix together my different combos of different shades of skies to the different shades of landscape, and see if by just observing what I have, I could discover something pretty cool. Once I have something, if I have something, I might try to paint a minimal landscape or something quick, just to get the creative juices flowing a little bit. I'm just gonna put the camera there and have a little time lapse of me playing around with the papers. Hope you like that. Also, one thing that I noticed is that I have a tendency, which is I think a very common thing to do, to have two dark colors, like the sky be way too dark, and when combining it with, let's say, something like this, then everything becomes very dark. Some people might like it, but that's not what I'm going for. I like things to be a little bit more balanced. I wouldn't say subtle. I do love the look of subtle, like very pale colors, but I think that having a dark sky and a dark land or landscape, everything is a little bit too much. Like, I have examples of this. Let me show you. Okay, here's an example of what I'm talking about. To me, these colors are way too saturated. Some people might like it, but I feel like if the sky would have been like a very much more paler shade, I feel like it would have had a better balance. I don't know. And the fact that there's a lot of texture is another thing. I would enjoy this if the sky was very minimal, like not too many clouds and pale shades, or the inverse, you know, like not too much texture here if I want to have big bold clouds in the sky. To me, this is too dark. Like, to me, this is already better if I compare the two. But even then, here at the horizon, I would have had a lot paler shades, like whiter shades. See here, this one has more white and it lifts everything up compared to this one already. But it's all personal taste, obviously. Some people achieve very bold and intricate compositions and they do it really well. It's just not what I'm looking for. And for the skies, what I've done is take all the different shades of blue that I have in my collection and created gradients like this. And some of the colors were mixed with like a little bit of purple and blue. Sometimes I added a touch of black or gray to create a more muted tone. But at the beginning, I used the color straight out of the tube and it created these swatches that were very dark. You know, that would create a very bold painting that I'm not really fond of. So then I decided to create more samples, same colors that I have in my collection, but add a ton of white to it to have, I don't know on camera if you can tell, but it's all different shades of blue, but very, very pastel. And to me, if I take the same like bottom, if I compare it like this one to say something like this, I much prefer a paler shade, you know, compared to this. I'm gonna Modge Podge things together. Not really, I'm just gonna put the pieces like a puzzle. And then I think I'm gonna create a few options that seem appealing and then we'll talk about it. As you saw, this was the first one I was attracted to. And another one that is very different, I feel like, is this one. It's much more olive green compared to this one. I found quite a few options for this. I'll show you after. Now I'm gonna explore this one a little bit. So what I've done is pick the landscape part, like the green parts that I liked the most. So there was a lot of options, but what I did is I picked a more olive green that was interesting to me. One that was very much a muted, subdued green, like a gray green. And another one that was kind of like in the middle, but with paler shades. Then I tried to find a sky shade that would go with each ones. And what I've discovered is that skies that have a little tinge of purple in it really works for me. I really like the look of it with all shades of green, actually. So these are pretty much purples, like lilac colors. Let me see if I could. These are more straight up purples, but these blues are blue but with a little bit of red, making it a little bit more purplish. And I do love the look of it. Whether it's a bit darker or lighter, I do like it. And with all the shades, I find it interesting, calming. I'm not saying I want to create only purple skies. What I mean is that I'm noticing that whatever blue I pick, if I add a little dot of red to give it more of a like a purpley undertone, it would really get me to where I would like the finished landscape more color-wise, because these blues do have that little purplish undertone. If I compare it, let me see, like this blue is more of a, it's not a greenish blue, but there's not that purple undertone. And although some people might like it, I much prefer something like this, than like this. I also discovered that when the sky is silver-ish, so almost white, but with a little bit of like bluish gray, it works. I like the look of it. So this, I think this is Payne's Gray diluted to a very, very pale shade. And I really enjoy how it looks, whether it be this olive green or the grayish green. I was on the fence about the aqua, like turquoise sky. I kind of like it, but I was undecided. I tried with like a peachy sky as well. Peachy more on the pink side and peachy more on the orange yellowish side. Anyways, bottom line is I have options, and what I'm liking the most is that purplish blue sky, light shade, and the super light silver grayish blue sky. Let me show you all the blues that I have in my collection. So this one, and this one. And I think there's one here, yeah, like that. So I have these open paints, you know, I've reviewed those ones. They're slow drying acrylic, so they take a lot longer to dry, which I like. I have a cobalt blue, oops, like this. And I have this dark blue. I have an example here. So this is the darker one. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anthraquinone blue. I do like myself a really dark blue. So it's more of a grayish color. And the cobalt is this one. And when combined with a little bit of red, the cobalt turns into this nice purple. I also have this light blue permanent. It's a nice color that is pale and very vivid. I have another dark blue. Pronounce that if you can, because I can't. And I tried a few color tests here. It's a dark, deep, rich blue, which I really, really love. It gives more of a grayish feel when I put red in it. So maybe this might be good if it's a stormy sky, but might not be what I'm looking for necessarily. And perhaps my very favorite is this one. This one is light blue violet. It really is like lavender color or periwinkle, right in the middle of being a purple and a blue, and I've tested it out with different shades. So putting a lot of white to get it to be pale. I've added yellows to see what types of green shades I could get, and then with a touch of red to get it to be a little bit more purplish. This might be my favorite. I also tested out these here. You see the purplish blue, the light blue violet compared to this light blue permanent here, and then my darker midnight blue. And this is the green that I really enjoy. Hooker's Green Deep. Eventually my goal is to have 1 or 2 signature blues, like a dark one and a more medium regular one in my collection, and just have those. For now, I'm not saying I'm not gonna use what I have. I can work with all of those, but I know now that I have to just put a little dot of red to get it more purple, or make it super, super light and grayish to get like the colors that I'm more drawn to in landscapes. Right now, I want to test out my theory. I'm going to paint a quick minimal landscape, and I'm gonna have purplish, a light purplish blue sky with some greens in the bottom, and see if I'm satisfied with the result. Let's check it out. I'm done with my painting and I'm really happy. For the first time, I think I'm completely satisfied with my sky. I don't think it's ever happened before. I think the little lilac, the little purple hint in the blue does it for me. That's what I was looking for, keeping things super minimally, not working too many clouds in my sky. It really works. And having a very pale shade of blue. The biggest mistake that I keep making over and over again is to mix a shade that is too dark for the painting. Correction, it's not that when I mix it, it's too dark, it's that acrylic paints dry a lot darker than when it's on the mixing palette. So as it dries, it gets so much darker and I keep forgetting it. Now what I have to work on more is the foliage, all the tones of green. I know that I love a nice golden yellow, like a muted mustard, pale mustard yellow. I like that in a landscape. I like this deep brick brown that I was getting also. I think it adds some warmth, but the greens that I'm selecting for now, I find they're a little bit too dark. And I'm getting all the greens in, you know, whereas I feel like I would like it to be a little bit more focused. I'm not sure what the solution is for this. I'm gonna have to explore it a little bit more. Maybe in another video I could focus more on the greens. But as far as sky goes, I found my solution, like the sky that I love. I'll keep doing color studies because that's the type of thing that I love doing, really exploring and kind of refining what I love, what works for me. And ultimately, I'd like to make a video of my favorite acrylic paint colors and having a very minimal set that really works for most occasions. That's a goal that I have. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it inspired you to do your own little testing at home. If you like art vlogs, if you like to see me work in the studio, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell notification. Super important. It really helps my channel. If you want to know one way to help, it would be to hit the bell. Thank you so much in advance. I will see you in just a few days for another one. Thanks.